Welcome back to Rapperware. Today I am joined with the CEO of Intervolvers by the name of Alan. For the people that don't know who you are, would you mind introducing yourself?
All right, so I'm a 17-year-old entrepreneur from Västerås, Sweden. Västerås is a city in Sweden. So I've been working with music since I was 14 years old. I started with being an artist, but over time, I found that my interest was in being a record label executive. So over time, I helped artists with releasing tracks independently and getting the support that they would usually get from a record label without a contract. So over time, it's in 2020 summer, my city had a contest where you create your own company and you just try and make it successful. So many people started some smaller companies like helping people with grocery shopping now in COVID. But I was like, I want to do this record label thing with no contracts, helping artists grow and get the support they need without any contracts. And it's more like a collaboration. So example, when an artist creates a song with another artist, they don't really sign a contract. It's more like a collaboration. You decide a split and then you move on. So why shouldn't it be the same with a record label? Artists will be more comfortable working with us and we will give them the support they need and it will be in a split royalty. So we've been working with artists like Agony, Henry Gaston, and soon we'll be working with Sengai and another artist. And the fun thing is, after every track, the artists want to work with us even more, which is great for us.
Now, you say the idea came out of a competition.
Yeah.
Like, do you know other people did things like helping grocery shopping and like other things, but why did you specifically choose to become a record label?
Yeah, so basically they wanted you to start a company helping people in some way, whether it's be helping grocery shopping or doing something else. I found this to be the same way. I always wanted to have a record label where I help artists. Artists come number one. So I was like, this idea fits their narrative. And I was like, let's do it. So I started helping artists in the summer with releasing without our name and getting mix and master, getting studio time, finding producers without any contracts. And over time, we kept getting artists working with us. And what happened was I won the biggest prize. So I got to sit down with politicians from Sweden, from the Social Democrats, and they started talking to me about this idea. And I won the biggest prize, which was Sweden's Entrepreneur. And I got articles written about me. And over time, I got a lot of contacts in the Swedish game. But more for me, I was more interested in the English rap side. So I was listening to artists like Agony. He was releasing songs like I Want, and those were like my favorite tracks. So I started contacting these artists, talking about I want to work with them. And over time, we started creating songs and we released them. Now look at us now.
So with that, but I want to know about the name. So how did you come up with Intervolvers as a name?
So Intervolvers stands for two words, interact and evolve. So we interact with the artists and we help them evolve. So if you put those two together, it becomes Intervolvers.
Ah, so like, so what was you doing before you was like the CEO of Intervolvers?
I was helping artists where they paid me, whether it be releasing their tracks or getting their tracks mixed, helping them market for a set price. So it'd be like $200, I would market their songs and they would pay me, I would do it for them, but it wouldn't be under our record label. They would release it under their own name and it would basically be a very secretive thing. But over time, I was like, I want to do my record label thing. Let's put it together with this idea. And that's how I came up with starting this.
So over time, I can see that your record label will only go up in artists coming for you and you asking artists for collaborations. And
Yeah.
I just wanted to know, do you have like any managerial experiences, like experiences managing people, managing this and that, or did it come over time?
It came a lot over time, but I've helped a lot of local artists managing them, getting the Spotify profile set, how to market them, how they should create a song like an event. Because that's why whenever we release a song, it's more like an event. It's not like, oh, we just released another song. It becomes like, wow, I cannot miss out on this. And in that way, it's going to pique interest. And that's why the first day numbers are usually much higher than the artist's own songs. And that's why we got like an idea. We got playlisters, we got radio we speak with, and we got TikTok creators. Like for example, the latest song, Night and Day, we started a contest. So there's a contest on TikTok right now where you create a dance or just a video to the song, and we're going to pick 10 winners that's going to win money. And in one day, we got over 120 videos done.
Wow. So, what about new artists? Because artists will be seeing this interview on YouTube and such. And
Yeah.
with your name and the name of being the CEO of Intervolvers, a record label, if an artist is thinking of working with you, what do they expect?
They should look at us, our credits, honestly, look at the songs we released and what we've done for them. And when they contact us, we're going to keep track of everything we've done. So it could be how we executed TikTok, how we did Spotify playlisting, contacting radio, YouTube premieres. We put it all together and we show them, like, it'll be more like of a pitch. We tell them what we do and how we're going to do it. And then we get a bit personal. We tell them how we want to do it with their song and what ideas we got. So it becomes a bit personal, and they see that we want to do it with them in a more professional way.
Oh, well, because like I've talked to many artists in this interview, and
Yeah.
they've all said that they are looking for album. Sorry, they're looking for record labels trying to scout them, giving them good deals, signing contracts and such. But they're in the mainstream rap kind of stuff. They're like record labels giving people a bad deals. What I mean, bad contracts. And then in the contracts they use like really advanced language that artists don't understand. So they will have that kind of fear when they come, to sign with record labels and such. But what you're doing, I think it is like it's genuinely like from an artist's perspective like a good thing no matter what, because there's no deals, there's no like certain rules. It's your music, you release your music, and I just want to know if there's more artists coming in and such, will this expand into like a business kind of stuff? So having managers, having other people manage all those artists separately, but you're under control.
Yeah, 100%. Over time, we want to have more people work for us and help more artists. Right now, we're a really small team. Like, we're not a lot of people working here, but we do our best. But over time, with more songs, we're going to make more profit with the artists. We're going to be able to afford people working for us, whether it'll be graphic designers, mix engineers, TikTok professionals, marketers, all of that. We put that together and we have a team already. And the thing with record labels is they got a lot of bad deals. Like they got 360 deals where they give you a loan, but they got to make like 3 times the money back or you're going to be in debt and other things like that. And that's why artists are so scared to be with a record label. But we want to put that fear away because there's such a bad name to record labels these days. But we want to change that. And that's why we kind of stand out. So in that way, there's no contracts and the artist, it's more like a collaboration for every track. There's no like demand, like we have to make 10 singles. It's like one single at a time or one album at a time. Let's pick the rules for this release and that's it. You're not bound to like a 1-year deal or anything. We pick the rules for this track or this release and we stick by it. So the artists are free.
Yeah, well, in the UK right now, I think I can name a few companies. For example, there's a company called This Is NQ, and they're doing the same thing as you. So how do you feel about competition in the scene right now?
I don't really see it as a big deal because there's a lot of artists out there. That's the same like there's multiple record labels. There can be multiple record labels without contracts. So I don't think that's really a big deal. There's going to be artists that want to work with us and artists that want to work with them. More for us, we're just going to keep our standards, and we think for us it's more of a focus with smaller artists. I think NQ, they work with a lot like larger artists. We want to help the smaller artists get that jump up, and if they decide they want to work with a bigger record label, that's their choice. If they want to stay with us, that's great too.
Yeah, now how do you feel about the artists that you have currently in your domain that you are working with? Like, for example, a good friend of mine, Agade, I know he's been working with you. So how did you two met first of all, and how did things kick off from there?
I remember there was a producer on Instagram. He was releasing videos on his beats, and I remember I went to the comment section, and Agony had commented there. So I was like, "Yeah, this is cool." I went on his page, and this was like 2 years ago, and he just released 2 or 1 years ago. He had released this song with these female artists. I think it was called "Missed Call," or yeah, I forgot the name, but that song was amazing. And after that, I followed him. I was listening to all his tracks, and over time, yeah, I became a large fan. And when this idea with the record label came, I was like, he's a small artist. This would fit perfectly with his narrative and his songs. I'll just contact him. And I contacted him, he responded, and we got to work with the first song, Habits. And over time, we started working on Trenches, and we still work on a lot of tracks.
Yeah, so all this, all you and Agni, just from one comment in the instrumental like comment section, and then wow. So you I can tell you have the mind of an entrepreneur. Is that right? Have you studied
Yeah.
on that sort of? So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna ask you a question right now that not many people understand. Do you
Mhm.
treat this? Do you treat your dedication in this record label as an asset, kind of sort?
In what way?
You know, and like there's a teaching saying with like entrepreneurs, investors and stuff is that in life you need assets. Assets is like things that gives you money.
Hmm.
So an asset can be like a library, for example. If I had a library, I don't work for that library. I have people working for that library, and that
Hmm.
library gives me money, but I don't work for it. If you get what I mean. So I'm just thinking, are you treating this record label as an asset, as in the future, like you will slowly build it up for you to get money, and then from there you might have some other company, like another record label for bigger artists or smaller artists.
In that way, not really. Like I see, like every track we release, every release, I see it as its own asset because it's always going to be there. It's always going to earn money for both us and the artist. And over time, when the artist gets bigger and bigger, that track is also going to keep growing. So in that way, I see that as an asset. But if you mean materialistic assets, right now we don't have that.
So for the people that actually don't understand, how do record labels make money mostly?
Record labels, they mostly make money from percentages, and it could be a lot of ways. It could be social media, sponsorships, performances. They make money on a lot of ways, and these contracts, they keep you bound. Where it's like you have to you have to be on 10 shows a week. You have to do free sponsorships. You have to. It's like even when the artist doesn't want to work with them, they have to. So here, there's nothing like that. If they want to work with this sponsor, they can do that. So it's nothing like we're not forcing anything, but for a normal record label, there's a lot of ways to make money. But usually it's percentage, marketing, no, not marketing, percentage, sponsorships, and performances. Those main three. And then radio.
So when it comes to money, you talked about something called a 360 deal. I've heard of it
Mhm.
before, but I don't really get the whole idea of it and why it's called a 360 deal and stuff. So do you mind explaining to me like what's that about?
Yeah, there's a lot of different deals, but usually it's like they give you a loan, like a capital, let's say $500,000, and you have to make them around, like, let's say, example, $2 million back. Now, let's say you release an album with them, that's the deal of the contract. Album only makes $200,000. Now you have to pay them back 1.8 million. So it's like the money they give you, it has to come back. It's not like they're giving you this money to just create great music. It's the same as a bank loan. So in that way, it's a 360 deal. What they give you, it comes back.
Yeah, no, it is, yeah. After you say that, I get why artists are pretty scared of like being signed to a contract and being bound to it. Because there's an artist, I think you might have heard of it. Like, yeah, you use TikTok, don't you?
Yeah,
Yeah, like, so Megan the Stallion?
yeah.
Yeah, have you heard her contract deals and what's going on with that?
Mhm. Yeah, she signed to 300.
Yeah, and I think there was a thing going on where the she made I think I can't say, but I read up on it, but I think she made about 7 million for the record label, and they
Hmm.
only give her like $150,000 back. And after that, Jay-Z has a record label called Rock Nation, and what he does is help artists come out of really bad record label deals and stuff.
Mhm.
So you being, you know, a CEO of a record label, do you
Yeah.
like kind of look up to Rock Nation sort of in a way?
Yeah, definitely. Rock Nation, they're definitely an inspiration. They help a lot of artists. Lately, they helped The Weeknd with his performance on the Super Bowl. And doing stuff like that, it really shows that there's a good side to the music industry. And these record labels that, go against that, having something like the Rock Nation helping out, that's a great fit because they've helped a lot of artists get out of bad contracts, and doing that sets an example that there's a good way, there's a good side of the music industry, and I respect that a lot, and I take a lot of inspiration.
Now we've talked a lot about you and your, you know, record label, but I
Yeah.
just want to know you as a person. So what kind of music do you listen to at home currently?
What kind of music do I listen to? I love UK rap. So I think my top artist for last year's Spotify Wrapped, I think it was Agony, and I listen to a lot of Leeds artists. But I think my favorite right now, it would definitely be someone like Nav and Kanye West. I take a lot of inspiration from Kanye West. He has a lot of inspirational quotes in his music. And yeah, I would say my favorite artist is definitely Kanye West. Favorite album, definitely My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Wow. So Kanye West, you know, I actually really like Kanye West, but the thing is, there's a joke with being, you know, a fan of him is that it's
Yeah.
hard being a fan of Kanye West, you know what I mean? Because he's got so many things that are, well, first of all, mentally, he's got
hmm
bipolar disorder, and also, he's the type of like person you could say to be good at something you have to be crazy. Have you heard that saying before?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
I
So
agree with that. In some ways, yeah, I agree with that. But he has bipolar disorder, and I think people just have to understand that he has this mental disorder, and they don't have to be so quick to judge him. There's videos when him and Kim and him are, someone is greeting them, and he's a bit loud, and they're like, "Oh, what's wrong with him?" But I think they should understand that he has bipolar disorder, and yeah, he's a bit crazy, but I wouldn't say that's a bad thing. I would say he's being himself, as long as it's not harming anyone. He's just being himself.
yeah, and do you read a lot of books or do you just watch YouTube videos?
I used to read a lot of books, but lately I haven't been able to. One of my favorite books, it's definitely It,
It
with the
what
clown Pennywise.
the
Yeah.
oh, I see. So what did you study in school? Like what lessons did you study?
So I go in gymnasium, and there's some music course there. So I go in the music course, and in this school we get studio time. We learn how to play the piano, how to record vocals, how to mix, produce. So it's basically a music course. Now my plan is to go in this gymnasium for 3 years, and after that, I'm going to change to economy. So in that way, I have an education in music and an education in economy, which is perfect for me because I do business and I do music.
Ah. So were you learning music and studying music as well? Do you like have you tried to make any music yourself?
Yeah, I used to make music under the name Slow Dance. Over time, I think I understood that I might go back to that in the future. But for now, I'm going to be focusing on doing my industry, continue with the record label, and maybe when I'm like 18 years old, I'll get back to rapping.
Well, yeah, this interview's gone really well, honestly, because
Mhm.
the thing is with rapper ways that me and my friend we've set it up to interview rappers mainly, and you know getting the insight of rappers and getting to know them behind the scenes.
Mhm.
And I could safely say most of the rappers I've interviewed, they've all said that right now with the corona and stuff, they've all taken breaks. Some have flown out to the home country. Sorry, some have flown out to the home country. Some have, you know, taken musical breaks and kind of recollecting themselves. And with like with the thing is with the contract that you're talking about, big artists can't do that most of the time. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because they have to release songs after song. Then after that, they got to do promotions. And after that, they got to do like, So do you have like how do I say this in the nicest way? Do you like disdain them kind of? Like do you look at that and think why would you do that to artists who are really passionate about their music?
If you mean in like Corona and doing their contract, yeah, I think there should be exceptions because they should be able to take a break when there's something like this going on. And a lot of artists still have to go on performances, which to me baffles me. But I've seen a lot of artists, they haven't really made music over the Corona situation, and I can understand that. But for me, it's been much easier. It's been like I've been at home a lot. I've been able to work with music. I've been able to market these artists, and I hope that answers your question.
So just explain to me how a record label can be part of a record label. That could be part of a record label. That could be part of a whole group.
Yeah, so usually there's these big record labels. There's Universal, Sony Music, and Warner Music. And when smaller record labels come along, they usually buy them. So Interscope, all these smaller ones, or they create a smaller record label under their name. So Interscope, Republic, Atlantic, they're all owned by these larger Sony, Warner, Universal. And then these record labels, they have people working for them, especially like someone like Cash Money. um and that's why it's split up in like different sections. But that's what we want to change. We want it to be straight to the top, because let's say now Republic, they're fine with the song, but then Interscope are like, yeah, this song doesn't fit radio, we don't want to do it. We want you to put out a clean song, no swear words. We want you to talk about romantic situations because that fits radio better. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be fun for a company to get in the way. So in that way, we want it to be straight to the point, straight to us, and we decide what we want to do, and that's done. There's no middleman or other companies in the way. It's just straight to the source.
So if you got an offer from, let's say, Sony Music, would you decline that offer straight away, or would you just
Straight
kind of look
away.
into it?
It would be straight away declined because that would go against our morals and it would go against what we want to do. We don't want to be under anyone, and we want it to be the same. We want the artists to feel like they're at the same ground as us. We're not above them. They come with the great music and we come with the marketing and we go together. It's nothing like they have to create this music and we tell them how to do it and then we're above them. So nothing like that. We would instantly decline it, and over time people are going to see we're never going to sell.
And what about you branching off to other record labels? So there's Intervolvers, and there might be a smaller branch of Intervolvers. Are you thinking of doing that in the future?
You mean like opening other record labels?
Yeah, kinda.
I think for now I'm just going to focus on Interwovers, and I don't have any plans to open any other record labels. I want to make this the biggest possible. I want this to be the next Universal, the next Sony, the next Warner. So branching off to other record labels, it would take away resources from this one. So I would kind of have to split them between two record labels and have to work for both, when I could just focus on this and make this the biggest possible.
Well, you pretty much answered everything I wanted to know today for
Yeah.
this interview. Thank you so much for coming on the interview. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you, Pond. Take care.